What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down this route here from Jeudy at Denver Broncos OTA. So we're going to be talking about this dig route. It's how to run a dig, how to snap down into a dig, and how you guys can sell vertical for as long as possible to move this DB off this platform, okay? So I hope this video gives you guys some value, gives you some insight on just what you need to do at the top of the route to create some energy and to accelerate out of the break. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to improve your football IQ, you want to be able to read defenses, understand DBs, understand the holes in each coverage, and be a second quarterback on the field, check out that very first link in the description for a 35-minute long video on how wide receivers can read defenses. So we break down just film, just like how we do on this page, but it's all about the above the next stuff. It's all about football IQ. We talk about what coverages to look for from a receiver perspective and how you guys can structure that plan off the line. So again, check out that very first link in the description if you want to improve your football IQ. Let's get started. So we're looking at this right from Jeudy. Now, the main critique probably everybody's going to say, especially people who don't understand the ins and outs of this specific route and how hard it is to do this, is it only took too long at the top of the break. And we're going to talk about why that's not the case. But the main thing I also want to focus on is, what do you think, especially as a receiver watching this clip, what do you think is going to move a DB out of there? What do you think is going to get him to backpedal? What do you think is going to get him to turn his hips? And it's these three things that Jeudy does so well right here. Pad level number one, so your body language. So when you're going up into a break, you got to have this body language. Like, this is probably as perfect as it gets because he's not too low where his chest is super far down to where he can't move and he's not going to be able to drop his hips. And he's not too tall to where he's leaning back and standing straight up. You want to keep your number covered. You want to be able to stay in this explosive pad level position and be able to attack this DB, or if he's hip to hip with you like it's a man coverage situation, we want him to be fully committed on this break and running stride for stride with me. It's all about body language, and it's all about what brings me to my second point, speed. So body language and speed. So speed comes from keeping that same normal stride, right? A lot of people start chopping their steps get super slow. They have good body language, right? Their chest is forward, but their steps are like this, and they're super choppy going right into the break. The problem with that is that a DB is going to feel that. When a DB starts to feel your strides start to change and you're not covering as much grass, like that, like a guy like Jeudy who's fast, he's probably getting 5 yards for every 2 strides. That's how we used to measure guys, especially when I used to coach for a team. We used to measure the speed of guys. If you get 2 strides for every 5 yards, he's pretty dang fast. Like that's a lot. That's like next level speed, and I'm sure that's what Jeudy's going to be getting right here. So if he starts to feel my strides start to shorten up and he starts to feel me not covering as much grass, he's going to start to slow his pace down as well. It's much easier for him to come out of a break. So it's got to be good pad level number one, and then we got to be able to be in stride. Now, that speed change is also important. I can't slow myself down and take all these long strides. I got to have good speed into the break, got to stay in stride, got to keep a good pad level. That's what makes a DB move off this block. And again, this is t-shirt shorts route, no pads, no defense, but again, it's the technique that matters, fellas. It's the technique that translates onto the field. And when a guy like this, who's one of the top route runners in the game, who's doing this kind of stuff in practice, and you guys are running lazy routes, that's how you know that what you're doing isn't going to translate. From t-shirt shorts, routes versus air, 1-on-1, 7-on-7, it's all got to translate to when we get the pads on and when it's a live game. Now, when I have that checklist, speed, in stride, I got good body language, the only way I'm able to decelerate is by having this violent drop on my hips and getting to this explosive position with my pad level. So you see how Jeudy, when he does call this a snap down, right? They call it that trigger step. If you're not familiar with this page, trigger step, snap down, that's just how you get into a break when you're running full speed. So the thing about that is you got to be able to drop your hips and you want to try to bring your chin to your knee. Now, a lot of people think he might be drifting too far forward here at this pad level. That's not the case if he didn't drop his hips. If he just bent at the waist and his hips stayed tall and then he fell forward, he would drift off this thing and be off balance and not be able to accelerate. But when I can drop my hips violently in stride, chin to my knee, this is an explosive position to where I could take those steps out. The only thing I think I could say about this is maybe he could run his arms a little bit better and keep those arms a little bit more natural. But this is that position where when you hit that last step of the break, which in this case is a 5th step, he can really push off of that because he's in that explosive pad level position. So it's a snap, 2, 3, 4, 5. He hits that 5th step, which is this. He can push, he can create some energy so he could accelerate and be at the spot the quarterback expects him to be at. Nothing worse than a guy who comes off of this break either too slow or doesn't sell vertical long enough and rounds it off and comes out of this thing too fast and the quarterback ends up throwing it behind us. Okay, so this is a textbook right from Jeudy. Could he have eliminated some steps? Yes, for sure. But again, you guys got to understand how difficult it is to run full speed, no indicators, in stride, same good pad level, and just drop and be out of there, right? So this is a textbook route from Jeudy. Great job pushing vertical, snapping this thing off, and make sure we accelerate off this break. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. I always appreciate the feedback. And again, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to learn how you can read defenses, how you can understand coverages, learn the ins and outs of different defenses and where the holes are going to be, check out that very first link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.